All right, Bob, you asked us, you put in, I'm interested in advice on getting a laser engraver for signing and texturing platters.
That's
Was
what
that
I asked.
all right? Is Johnny, are you still with us, Johnny?
Still here. Yep.
All right. Give me a little input, Johnny, because I got the same gizmo you got, and I don't want to be accused of harking one or the other. So I love what I have. Tell them about what you've worked into.
All righty. I talked with a couple of club members here that primarily do pins and to find out what they use, and they both recommended that the NEJE that I bought that's the NEJE Mini, I think they call it. But the one I bought is the NEJE Master 2, and I bought the 20 watt, but you really don't need 20 watts. The 3500 is probably the best for engraving in wood. And they're reasonably priced. There's several places to get them on the internet. There's a lady out in California sells them. Amazon has them. And I bought it because it was the simplest and easiest to use. I don't know anything about G codes or vectors or this type of thing. I need
simple.
Yeah,
I need simple.
Me too. So that's why I got it. I wrote my signature on a piece of paper, took a picture of my iPhone, forwarded it over to my laptop, and burned it right into a bowl. And it's that simple. You don't have to. You really don't have to know how to do much on there. That's why I like it. It's simple to use.
What wattage is? How does the 3500 compare with the 20 watt? Is it?
Well, they
What's
say
the difference in them?
3.5 watts. It's 3.5 watts, and which is fine because on my 20 watt, I usually run it between 15 and 18% of power because you just don't need that much. You will burn through something if you run in 20 watts there. So it's more than I ever needed, but it's ideal for any kind of wood you want to burn. And the 3500 or the 3.5 is great because it makes a very fine line if you want to engrave something like a pen or something very small. It's very good for that. And I can adjust mine down. It makes a pretty fine line on mine, but it's not as fine as the 3500 is.
When I got started on mine, it came with the 20, and Nancy McIntyre is the lady that really promotes that product and knows all about it. And she said, I'm going to send you a 3500. And it was night and day. But I'm same way. I wasn't on a DOS-based computer. I'm on a Mac. And to generate the images, I had to generate them in PowerPoint and then move the PowerPoint over to their program. And I had a little fuzz. I just saw one, well, Johnny's work doesn't have any fuzz, but he's doing his with a Mac. I'm sorry, the Windows unit. And it's not a lot, not complex at all. And he's right. You don't have to learn any code. You don't have to learn any code or anything in order to make it work. Billy Dillard, what about the one you have? Billy, are you still in?
I had muted. I'm sorry.
All right. What unit do you have?
I have the NEJE Master 2. They're pretty much the same one Johnny's got there. I've got a couple of them. I upgraded to the newest one because it had the Bluetooth capabilities to hook to my phone, which was an improvement. But I think altogether I have 3 laser engravers, one of them being a real cheap entry-level unit, and the latest NEJE Master 2. It'll do about 7-inch engraving. It's a little bit bigger than the one I had before. It's not real big.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
What is that one then? What did
I actually have, I think I have 4 different modules for mine. I have the 3, the 7.5, and the 20. There's 3. But those are actually input power ratings. That's how they rate these diode lasers, are rated by input power required to operate. So it says 20 watts. That's not the actual burning power. That would be the input power that the power supply needs to be able to supply.
Right.
think I know I've got two. I've got a 7-watt, 20-watt, and a 3-watt. Yes, I have 3. That's what the modules look like. This is the 3500, and then this is the 7-watt. So yeah, so I have a 3500 and a 7-watt and a 20-watt. And the real difference that you see on wood is actually the way you're looking at it is the 35 or the 3500 will be like using a smaller skew chisel as opposed to using a bigger skew chisel. The focus point is smaller, so you can get more detail work. The 20-watt would be really close to the same size, but it's a little bit wider. So it's when it's actually burning, it's burning a wider path. So you can't get quite as much detail. I don't do a lot of detail work. I do mostly engraving like Johnny does on wood. So the neat thing about the 20-watt module is it has a 100% duty cycle time. So I could burn at 100% power and complete 100% duty cycle. I do not have to worry about it overheating. I never burn it 100%, but in theory I could. Some of the smaller ones, there is a duty cycle. Nobody really knows. I guess if you overshot the duty cycle, you might shorten the life of the module. My 3500-watt module there is about 4 years old. So I have not even come close to seeing the power drop off on it.
Billy, thank you so much. Appreciate the input. We're going to pop over our last visit tonight. We're going to go to Australia and talk to Donald.
Who
aren't
is
we?
this Nancy McIntyre?
There's a website, YouTube, Facebook website. Nancy is, I don't know if there's a position going with it, but she's got a group or a club of all kinds of folks that have got these NEJEs, or NEJE, however you say it, and they input problems, solutions, ideas, tips, hints, artwork, et cetera, et cetera. It's a whole nother, it's a little club, and apparently once you get one, if you get involved in them, everything you do will be a little bit easier.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, she also sells them with all the accessories too. Anything you want.
Nancy's the guru of NEJE. She just reading there's 4 or 5 NEJE groups that she runs. Just reading there is such an eye opener. I've got the 7-watt one, which is good for as finer details as the 3.5. I run it at about 11 or 12%. I do a lot of photos on MDF. Well ventilated, of course, because MDF's not real good.
okay. Thank you, Donald. Appreciate the input tonight.
Oh, man. There we go. I'm going to check that out. I've been interested in getting one. I just don't know that much about them.
Yeah, I am too. I joined that group about 2 weeks ago, and there's a ton of information in there. And Nancy is real active in that group, and she by kind of casually reading stuff, she is real knowledgeable, just like everybody said.
Anyone has any
Okay.
questions about it? Yeah. I've been using it for quite a while. I've done quite a few things. I've tried some of the aftermarket software, and I haven't had much luck with it. I'm pretty much sticking with the software that came with it.
Okay, yeah, that was one of the questions I was going to ask, when he was talking about it earlier about the software, because I see different people trying different softwares, and it's kind of hit or miss with some of them. I didn't know which. So you're using the stock one that comes with it.
Yeah, I mean, it does anything you want to do, but you don't have a lot of control over. You can bring any kind of formatted document into it. JPEG. I think there's a list of about 7 different formats.
So do those just run off like an iPhone or an iPad? Or
And it can Bluetooth that way. That was the main reason upgraded mine. I wanted to be able to Bluetooth. At craft shows, I sell a lot of items that I custom engrave them at the show. So by having the format where I could work off my phone, if someone had a photo and they wanted something engraved, they could just send me the photo on my phone and I could engrave.
And you could just do it right there.
Very big improvement from being wired up to a computer and having to transfer documents and formats and, you know.
Wow.
Well, my problem is my computer is probably about 10 years old, so it's like a dinosaur, and all I have is either my phone or my iPad.
It does.
The age of your computer doesn't matter. I'm using about a 15-year-old laptop that's running Windows 7.
Right. That's all it needs.
Yeah, I haven't even opened mine in probably 2 years, so I don't even know if it works anymore. It's been under the bed collecting dust.
All right.
I know that Apple products aren't fully supported by the latest versions.
That's correct.
Now, one other question I got on that, Billy, does that one also, does it cut circles like cut maker's coins too?
I don't have one to show you. When I first got it, the reason I got the 20-watt module, I wanted to be able to cut some ply, and it will cut 3 mil ply, which is, I guess, 1/8 of an inch.
Okay.
Got a piece of it here. I don't see it handy.
Yeah, I think that's the one Eddie was using. Eddie's got the same one. He was using it on his front porch a couple months ago, and I believe he cut some circles out.
You'll find that if you put some kind of air assist on it, it will blow the dust away and it will actually cut deeper. What limits the cut ability is the soot that gets in it. You know, what I've got is I've got a little cheap fan that I just run on top of it. It blows the soot away. It keeps the lens clean also.
Oh.
And what the bigger laser engravers do, they actually put a little air assist jet right down by the head to blow compressed air, just to blow the dust away.
I've got a fish tank pump, a rather large fish tank pump, and then that's just got a tube coming up,
Right.
and I've got a bit of wire taped to the tube so it points at the right spot. Nothing fancy, but it for doing grayscale pictures, it's improved the pictures 200%.
Yeah, I've got the little lift legs on mine, and the reason I've got it that way is because I can do tumblers, I can do wine bottle stoppers. As you can see here, this is I can't hardly figure out which way to point to it, but this would be for your pin manual to go in. Okay, so once you get that pin manual, then what you want to hook to it is unlimited after that, because you can make any size wheel, anything that you need, get the diameter right for the tumbler. You want to do the tumbler, you would need the diameter to be right to make sure that your engrave is going to stay linear.
Yeah.
So you want to keep your laser hitting at a 90-degree angle then to the surface.
Mine sits 12 inches in the air, and I've got a laboratory lift, so I can put anything under it.
This is a homemade one that I had made when I had the other one. That one's actually got a real nice 1/4-inch threaded rod, which allows you to pretty much put anything you want on it. Let's see if I can.
And the machine will rotate it as it needs to be rotated, right?
Yes. This one, I bought the jig for the actual tumblers. So it came with the wheels for specific tumblers. But I mean, once you got the piece that comes with it, you can put anything you want on it. I forgot this was something I engraved the other day. Oh, baseball bat mug. I actually took this piece of wood and actually just turned it down to the same diameter as the mug. And then I ran the spring, but they use a string with a spring. and that wraps around the pulley and holds tension on the pulley, and that just sets the correct speed for it to rotate on the jig.
Wow.
Pretty simple. The one that I had made about a year and a half, 2 years ago, I actually used a vacuum cleaner belt. And I was actually letting that run on top of the pin blank itself. I was using the, what do you call the piece of, metal pieces that hold pins when you turn the blanks down. I can't think of
Bushings?
Yeah, I was using the bushing itself to set the diameter, because you turn the pin to the exact size of the bushing. So I was kind of doing it the hard way. The string and the spring is really nice because they have a couple of little pieces here that they actually, with the string and the spring hook to. So it works really well compared. But the only issues I was been fighting with, and I'm one of these people, I can't give something up until I extinguish all options, is you notice I got a grid that I actually engraved with the engraver, and that allows you to know where the center of the laser is. And that's one thing about the factory software is old version of the software, when you did the artwork, it would electronically center the artwork. And then before you started engraving, it would go to the center point and stop. So you could center your artwork. If your artwork is not circular or square, you don't know where the center of that artwork is. I mean, it's going to frame it and show you where it's going to engrave it. But if you're engraving something like this that's round, then you can easily find the center of this by measuring with a string. But to be able to put that laser in the middle and know where that center mark is and get this perfectly centered, because if it's off by a fraction, your eye's going to catch that. So what I did was I made the grid so I know where the center is, so I can actually take a round object and set it inside the circles that I have here on the grid.
Perfect.
Get so close that your eye,
Like a big center finder.
right, it's exactly what it is. You know, that was my way around it. And you said the lady's name earlier. I can't think of her name right now.
Nancy McIntyre.
Because I had asked her a couple of times, you know, that question is, why can't I electronically center it? I don't think that she had really understood the question, but they kept telling me, just measure what you're doing. And I said, no, I need the laser to go back to center. Well, the newest software has a manually centering option. So when I can click anywhere on that graphic and I can make that the electronic center, but I can't physically look at an object that's a graphic that's not round or square, and I can't find the center of that without printing it out on a piece of paper and measuring it. So it's very hard to do. It was like they thought it was an improvement by having the manual way of setting an electronic center, but what they did, they took away the automatic centering of the laser frame. Because the old version would frame it, and then when you hit stop, it would go to center. Then if you had a dot in the middle of your work, then you would just line up that dot. Okay, that was the old way. And she undoubtedly, maybe she wasn't involved with the product back then, so maybe she never saw it. But so far, that's the only workaround that I've found, is to make a grid and actually just center it that way. You know, and I found out an easy way to do the center of the object is that when you still have it on the lathe and you still have your mortise, run that tailstock up on that lathe. Don't touch the wood, but run it up so close that you can put a little pencil dot off the lathe, and you don't have to measure it anymore. In fact,
All right.
I have to come up with a way to put a pencil in that tailstock so I can put a dot on there and not make an indentation. But
We'll come up with a way. Don't worry about it. We'll come up
Well,
with
the
a way.
ones with the removable point, if you can figure out a way to put a piece in instead of the little removable point that's in the tailstock.
Yeah, immediately
Maybe,
I went to the thinking the
Get
golf.
you a big fat pencil and turn it down so it fits in there perfect.
You can put it in a Jacobs, Chuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got those.
Yeah, golf pencil and a Jacobs chuck. All right. Hey, I said we'd shut it down 9 o'clock, and really we got to go,
Yep.
folks. Y'all take
No
care.
problem.
I'll see you next week. Be good. And above all else, be safe. Good night.
Take care, Cap.
Good night. Good night, Eddie.
Good night.
Night, Cap.